This is our topic today, environmental education. What is environment? The environment refers to some total of all living means biotic, non-living, abiotic. The environmental refers to some total of all living, non-living factors, including air, water, soil, plants, animals that surrounds and influence the life of organism. Uh, what is environmental education? Environmental education is a process of that all allows to individual to explore the environmental issues, engage in problem solving, and take action, improve the environment. The problem solving and take action, improve the environmental education. As a result, individual develop the deeper understanding of environmental issues and have the skills making informed to responsible decisions. Environmental education is lifelong multidisciplinary learning process that increase the public awareness, knowledge, the environmental problems. It improves individual and community to all analyze the problem, solving challenges, and take responsible action to achieve the sustainability. The key components of environmental education include awareness, knowledge and understanding, the attitude and values. For example, awareness. How to aware the environmental education? Developing a discussion, understanding the total environmental uh, and associate with the problems. The students will associate with the problems. See, attitude and values. The some environmental education gives to students motivation, commitment, and sense of responsibility, and protect the improve the environment. Skills. What skills are increasing the students? Engaging the in case students engaging the practicals abilities, it necessary to it is able to identify the manage the solve the environmental changes, some action plans, participations. It in case kid engage in the both uh, individual and collective actions, resolve the environmental issues and sustainability development in society. Key components of environments. What is the key components? Biotic components, major environmental components, biotic components, plants, animals, human beings, fungi, bacteria, like these are all biotic compounds. These are all biotic compounds. Abiotic compounds, non-living or non-living, non-living air, water, soil, sunlight, rocks, and minerals. The physical surroundings of all mountains like rocks, rivers, lakes, and atmosphere. Natural environment. It's system of natural such as the forest, oceans, and wildlife without human interaction. What is the significance of functions? What is the significance of environmental function? The environment is essential for the life. It's providing the resources, survival of food, hosting the biodiversity requirements, sustainable ecosystems. It acts as a surrounding force that defines the condition under the such life operators. Environmental issues. The human activities can negatively impact the environment through pollution, habitat destruction, resource depletion, often resulting the disturb the distributed food web and reduce the soil fertility. Majorly, what is the environmental education? Me, meaning and importance of environmental. What is the environmental? Environmental education is a process of allow to individual to explore the environmental issues, engage in problem solving, and take action to improve the environment. As a result, individual develop the deeper understanding of the environmental issues when you have the skills to make the informed and responsible decisions. What is the objectives of environment? Have an object. A major environmental education is develop the environmental conservation policies. What is the main objectives of environmental issues? Pursue the sustainable development, environmental conservation policies to target the requirement public sufficiently sensitive about the multiple dimensions. Environmental development awareness and understanding the environmental issues provide the basic relationship between uh, man and environment. Education has been identified the critical force of adopting strategies, the implementing of such policies and programs. Environmental education must be defined the process directly at creating the awareness and understanding the environmental issues that leads to responsibility individual groups and successfully environmental education focus on the process of promoting the critical thinking, problem solving method, effective discussion making skills. It is all improving the human beings, kids, public. uh, this is the major objective of environmental education. Environmental education utilizes the process that involves the students in observing the measuring, classifying, experimenting the knowledge, gathering, and this process is assistant student discover. This is environmental education is useful to aware the students to their future and goals. What is the environmental education? Definitions of environmental education. Environmental education is a learning process in that increase the people's knowledge and awareness about the environment and associated challenges, develop the necessary skills and express to the address to challenges, foster the attitude, motivation, commitments, and make informed to the discussion and take the responsibility action. According to UNESCO, environmental education is the way of implementing the goals of environmental protection. It is not a separate branch of science. It builds the lifelong interdisciplinary field. It means education towards the protection and enhancement of the environmental education. It is an instrument of the development for the improving the quality of life human communities. Environmental education refers to organized effort to the teach how natural environmental function. How? natural environmental functions, and particularly how human beings are managing the behavior and ecosystem to live sustainability. It is a multidisciplinary field investigating discipline such as biology, chemistry, physics, ecology, geology, earth science, atmospheric science, mathematics, and geography. It is the multidisciplinary subject. The term of implies education within the school system from the primary and post-primary, post-secondary education. UNESCO states that environmental education is a vital implementing for the most society. It is enhancing a public environmental awareness. UNESCO emphasizes the role of environmental education is safeguard a future to the global development and social quality life through the protection of environment, reduction of poverty, minimization of inequality, in assurance, in assurance of sustainable development. The environmental education is a two-way of system in the sense of the educator is making available to the people. He's finding the same time the effectiveness of message monitoring by the educator and make knowledge relevant to authorities. The responsibility of extension persons to our educator, it is enormously because of he has some expertise in nearly all the fields since he is supposed to explain the answers questions various aspects of environment. The context of environment substance of environmental education is also undergoing the review of challenges. Some environmental education is a development within the conceptual framework that emerged from first international conference of TBC in 1977, and it is now see education for sustainability is allowed to environmental education to address the all broad range of issues and concern include the agenda 21 and other such involved the through meeting of the commission sustainable development UNESCO meeting in 1997. Environmental education is a complex process covering not just events but a strong underlining approach of to society, a building as a whole. Environmental education provides people within the awareness needed to the build partnership, understanding NGO activities is develop the participatory approach to the urban planning and ensure the future market for the eco business. The main theme of environmental education, what is the objectives of environmental education is it is a broad sense of nature. The systematic knowledge about the care should take in the explanation and utilization natural resources for the development process are resource for the extraction of mankind. Environmental education gives the required knowledge and experience realize the value of such important views. The role of environmental education is important in the realization of necessity and making a friendly and well balanced relationship between the man and nature. The general objectives of environmental education includes that to the develop the sense of awareness among the students about the environment and various problems to help students realizing the interrelationship between the man and environment. Basically, environmental education is improve the develop the sense of awareness. It means the student environmental and various problems. In case we are educating the students, they know the what is the problem of in environment. There, it is help to resolve the problems of environment. So major theme is educate the students to inform the student about the social norms to provide the unity and with the environmental character to create positive attitude to the environment among the students, to develop the proper skills, requirements, and fulfill the aims of environmental education and educational evaluation. It is to help the students realize the what is the importance of taking proper step to solve the environment problems. It is useful to the society and uh, human beings. To develop require the curiosity among the students for realization of environmental problems, so that they would be inspired to the work for solution from such problems, to create appropriate situation for the students participation in the process of decision making about the environment, to develop the capacity of to develop the capability of using skills, fulfill the requirement aims, to realize what is the solve, they resolve the problems, environmental problems through social, political, cultural, and educational process. The enlightening of people and physical components of the environment, to inform about the depending the environmental resources, to enlightening them to about the environmental challenges, to alert the consequence of environmental issues. What is the problem of global problem, environmental problems, to to create the concern for the environmental quality and conservation, uh, and to the understanding the man and environmental relationship, interaction with the ecosphere, to develop the personal community and national sanitation and conservation ethics. Natural resources, we already about discuss about the natural resources, sustainability. So the components and awareness, we're already discussing. Okay. Natural resources, natural and physical social factors. Many of environmental problems in India are due to the underdevelopment and ignorance. The general public are not aware the environmental problems and their occurrence. Um, Millions of people and pure hunger and without the basic need of aquatic food, clothes, shelter, health, and education. This is not only the situation in term humanity, but it is a various environmental consequence: poverty, illiteracy, ignorance, together contribution to environmental decay. The what is the art is to improve the neighborhood condition to us. The process of development, aggressive, the environmental problem, the process of agriculture growth and transformation, for example, involves the construction of reservoirs and irrigation system, clearing the forest, the use of fertilizers and pesticides. This is a process, and urbanization certainly have environmental implications. The increasing of population has had an impact on the rural and urban environment. Both urban and rural areas that share the same. The population of rural provide the safeguard drinking water. About the 20% of the population in cities living the slums and settlement. Knowledge of environment, we are discussing the knowledge of environment and levels of education. Curriculum development. What is the based on curriculum? What is the curriculum development? Based on different dis, uh, environmental education programs has been classified into some folds: environmental studies, environmental science, environmental engineering. The basic these all are the environmental education development curriculum. Environmental studies. This is the concern with environmental distribution and minimum of the impact through the changes of society. Major environmental studies is it is concern the environmental disturbance and minimization of impact or minimal their impacts through the challenges in society. Environmental science, it is a deal with environmental science, the study of process in water, soil, air, organisms. It lead to the population environmental damage and know the scientific basis for the establishing the standard which can be considered as acceptable, clean, as safe and healthy for the human and natural ecosystem. A physical, it means physical and natural sciences. Environmental science, it means physical and natural sciences. The environmental engineering. What is the environmental engineering education? This is the study of technical process which are used to the minimize the population and assessment of the impact of environment. Engineering sciences like environmental sciences and physical and natural sciences, it is included. Environmental studies it too, like social sciences also included. Environmental engineering, it is included as a environmental engineering sciences. What is the scope of environmental education? The scope of environmental education and awareness. Environmental extension, scope of environmental education and awareness are environmental education service to concern all fields, environmental sciences. These include the effects of man and environment, how he exploited the pollutant, but more improperty, how many can save the itself. It means problems such as caused by through the abuse, misuse, and overuse. The resource provided by the nature. Environmental education should not be only focus on effects of environment degradation, but very importantly, the understanding of fundamental causes. These should be also include the examination, social and economical factors such as aggravate the social degradation. The scope of environmental education can be described as a environmental education from the environment, education about the environment, and education for the environment. See, what is the main scope of environmental education? Education from the environment, education about the environment, and education for the environment. Education is the environmental involves that experience gained from the our surroundings. We are experienced in our surroundings only, this is includes the aesthetic values of environment, and you need to keep them such. Education about the environment involves to study of our environment, to learn about the composition and working the mechanism, and it is useful to this is an important component for environmental education. Since since we have to learn about the environmental before we can make it. Environmental education for the environmental enables to use learn how to preserve the environmental to enable us diverse in maximum benefits for the present generation as well as the future generations. This is a conservation aspect. This is a conservation aspect of environmental education. So, environmental education is necessary to conserve the biodiversity. What is the pollution? What is the how to uh, reduce the pollution? How to survive the globe? So we need to aware the environmental education. What is the guidelines principle of environmental education? The consider of environmental is a totally natural and inbuilt and built technology and social structures. Environmental education to be a continuous life-saving process. You know that environmental education is not to be a normal thing. Environmental education be a continuous life-saving process. Environmental education to be interdisciplinary in its approach. Examine major environmental issues from the local and national and international point of view. Environmental education is to focus on current and political situation also. They promote the values and necessity of local, national, and international cooperation and prevention and solutions of environmental problems. See, it not only a future, a present, a past. Environmental is a lifelong process. It promotes the values and necessity, local, national, international cooperation to the prevention and solution of environmental problems. Explicitly consider environmental aspect of plan for the development and growth. Enhance the position of learners to make decision concern their environmental, accept responsibilities. What is the components of environmental education? Yeah, this is components of environmental education. The aim of environmental education is clearly to show the economic, social, political, and ecological interdependence of a modern world, in which discussion and action by the different countries can be can have international representations. Environmental education should, in this regard, you have developed the sense of responsibility and solidarity among the countries and the regions as the foundation for the new international order, which will be guarantee the conservation and improvement of the environment. See, the main aim of environmental education at the grassroots level, it is to succeed in making individual and communities understanding the complex nature of the natural and the built environment. This is the main aim of the environment. Further, to acquire the knowledge, values, attitude, the practical skills, improve the practical skills, participate in responsibility, effectiveness of the way of anticipating and solving the social problems, and the management of quality environment, therefore necessary components for the environmental education. Why? Why kid need to environmental education? The kid should start their environmental education at school level. It fate of the planet will be in their hands. So one Telugu sentence is the నేటి బాలలే రేపటి పౌరులు. In that case, the fate of planet will be in their hands. Kids should start their environmental education at school level. So it is crucial for them to learn how to use the resources wisely and to their battle against the climate change and from early age. The result of these difficulties could be a better, more sustainable and inhabitable world. Environmental education is a process of for life and should be included every primary and secondary school syllabus, as well as other activities such as seminars, conference, and talks. The way of thought in the classroom should be adapted to the the age and maturity of the children, that should be not only theoretical but also practical, entering and fun. It is necessary to kids implement the environmental education at school level only. There are plenty of activities such that can be done in playgrounds or nearby parks. Children can outdoors to learn about the plants, trees, rivers, birds. They have seen to insects, but also able about environmental problems such as the pollution, gas emissions, important energy consumption, recycling, how to recycle the plastic and clothes, something, some vagara vagara. It's good to use of water, good to use the water and whole host of the other important aspects. See, this is a participation level. What the children how to participate in uh, the primary level of mm, education. What is the levels of environmental education? Education as a whole towards sustainability involves in the various levels of, it means formal education, non-formal education, and informal education also. What is a formal education? A formal education, it means primary levels, secondary levels, tertiary levels, university, uh, 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 so many levels are there. What is a formal? Formal education is a structured, systematic, and international learning process. So, within the institutions like schools, colleges, and universities, following as set the curriculum within the trained teachers, uh, it leading recognized as a qualification. Yes, qualifications, certifications, or degrees. It is a planned system. So, formal education it provide the fundamental knowledge for the career and further study. Environmental education is a increasingly predominant part of the primary and secondary and tertiary education levels in world. The formal education sector plays a vital role in the environmental education and awareness by the exposing the younger generation to the information issues, analyze the interpretation of environmental development. There are there have also also been a major shift from the schools adult community in environmental education. UNESCO 1996 it is, they give one statement. Rather than establishing a new subject, most countries have adopted the environmental education objectives and strategies into the existing curricula, while some other countries practice both options. In addition, the focus of practical learning in the real world, environmental education helps to school address important general educational objectives related to the values of skill development. The formal education, in the formal education, what is the primary level? Primary level and secondary level, what is the education level implement the primary and second level? See this, at primary level, the attempts is made to sensitize the child about the environment. Emphasis should be mostly building up awareness, 75% of the awareness, followed by the real life situation 20%, and conservation 5%. A major role is primary level education. Awareness is 75%. Awareness is build up the awareness only. Real life situations it can be uh, build 20%, conservation 5%. Teaching strategies include the audio visuals and field visits. This it is the used to the primary level. At the secondary level, objectives must be real life experience, awareness, and problems identification. The content are supplemented with the general sciences, teaching, practicals, and field visits. They are be it is be done. The emphasis of must be on conservation, assimilation of knowledge, problem identification, and action skills. Contents may be science based and action oriented work. The diversity of approaches in the primary and secondary education. See, across the globe, based on each country, a major threatened resources and issues of concern. For example, in Maldives, environmental education and awareness program highlighted issues the marine environmental engineering from the National Environmental Action Plan 1989. What is the objectives of primary and secondary level of environmental education? To emphasize the relevance of science to the daily life, to develop the scientific attitude in students, to create the environmental conducive to the togetherness, reliance on used to practice of science, to acquaint the students with the various natural phenomena, to develop an outlook which is emphasize the method of employment in different discipline of science, to knowledge and understand the true aspect of environment in general, to know the how understanding the interaction between for example how know and understand the interaction between mammals, between human and their environmental interaction between the various elements of and components of the environment, means elements like uh, different elements, oxygen, nitrogen, water, air, like elements and components of environment. Build the understanding and awareness and sensitivity towards the causes and efforts of the class that continuously take place in the society that world around us. The main objectives are to build and develop the skills in thinking, resolving the evaluating, resolving, making decision concern human and our world around them. The builds some development, the some skills and thinking and reasoning skills. Inculcate with the true attitudes using the knowledge and skills towards the solving the problem and issues relating to the individual society and the environment, to build the values and attitude towards the to the need of necessity to live together in the harmony. It context to the heterogeneous society. The focus on environmental education emphasizes that the primary and secondary education level population growth arise and problems of unplanned unplanned population. The growth arise and problems of unplanned population. For example, land use, land reclamation, and land soil conservation. Resources use the conservation, natural resources and artificial resources, result and cycling, food nutrition, food adulteration, balanced diet issues, protection, protection. What is the conservation levels? Resources, food nutrition, sorry, some technical issues. Food production, food adulteration, and preservation, a balanced diet, conservation, causes of wildlife, plant, soil, water, and conservation of other non-renewable energies. Pollution, water. What is the pollution levels? Water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution, health hygiene, individual, family, the They understand the individual hygiene, health hygiene, individual family hygiene, content, social health hygiene, human nature, other components of atmosphere, individual quality of future on earth. Tertiary level of what is the tertiary level of education has respond their increasing demanding for environmental managers. The experts at college level maximum emphasize they should be on knowledge regarding the sustainable development and conservation. That content must be a college based on science and technology. Teaching practices should uh, it is a it is action oriented field work to be done. At the postgraduate level, the four major areas are recognized: environmental engineering, conservation management, environmental health, social ecology. Key trends have been observed across the region in relation to the environment. University education, university level education, the environmental education at this level we have been worked after university level. UGC gives to some objectives to university level education. There are high powered committees suggested to areas environmental education postgraduate level. There are about the 10 university teaching course environmental areas. Besides, there are also research institutions, professionals, professional institutions, postgraduate major areas recognized as the environmental engineering, conservation management, engineering, health. So many areas are including the university level education. Environmental engineering, it is included subject like architecture, civil engineering, town and country planning, include the human settlement, slum improvement, landscape, architecture, individual design, regional and science of urban and ecosystem studies. Conservation and management, it includes the field level like land use, forestry, agriculture, energy, waste management, wildlife management, national parks, biosphere reserves, biological diversity management, mining management, non-renewable energies. The social ecology include the community organization, that's are social ecology. It is includes the subject like a human ecology, sociology, social planning, cost benefit, community organization and services, psychology and counseling, environmental ethics and related to areas of human. There are some institutions and center assigned by the Department of Environment, which is provide the formal education, training environmental areas, assistance to center environmental education. For instance of Center Environmental Education, Ahmedabad, Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal, and Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy in Dehradun. The basic environmental concept and elements added to the extension course at the undergraduate level and postgraduate level, undergraduate level and postgraduate level. For all students, irrespectively of their courses, the new environmental units are modules are introduced into the large number of courses. It can be increase the depth and details of environmental studies. New non-degradable program and courses of certified in the diplomas, some introduce the tertiary education institutions. What is a non-formal education? Non-formal education means organized learning activities outside of the traditional and regional school system. The focusing on particular learners centered goals like vocational schools, literacy, life skills, often the disadvantaged group of adults, flexibility, structured, specific needs to, unlike formal schooling and standardize the curriculum and certification, it was bridge and between the structured formal learning to spontaneous information learning after alternative of ages. Non-formal education is active exist alongside of the formal educational system. It is a circular and extra. It is curricular and extracurricular levels of occupational trainings through the wide public awareness activities through the non-formal channels like such as media, voluntary organization, different communities, institutions. Individuals choose method for the practices the best suit for the local needs, a capacity of following them, the main constitution of education. Adult means maybe influence to the society, the protect the precious by the gathering posters, slides, audio, visual information, the pictures. Tribal and forest areas, they are important media to protect the forest wealth. Children activities. The National Museum and Natural History conduct the spot of painting, modeling, and poster designing about the environmental for the children. Eco development camps. For example, eco development camps, non-formal education, eco development. Currently, a set of guidance lines has been prepared by Department of Environment to create the awareness. Awareness youth create the awareness youth and acquaint them to the participation in sustainable development. Non-government NGOs means basically 200 NGOs engaged in the environmental protection, right? More than 200 NGOs is engaged in the environmental protection right now. The training executives at regular courses should be arranged to environmental activities surrounding administration. The research and development programs, such as the research development efforts to support to the environment, biosphere man, fundamental courses. Fundamental courses means it IFS, IAS, IFSCS, like armed forces, need to supplement the foundation of environmental relevant their specification. What is the target population of environmental education? General public, for example, general public environmental education should be provided very age, every age class and all levels of formal education for the teacher and informal education for the young people and adults include also including handicapped adults. There are need to environmental education in environmental education program which is introduce the awareness among the general public for it is own environmental and a danger which is, can be exposed. A specific occupational or social group. These are activities and influence have an important to bring to the environment. This is including the engineers, architecture, administrators, and planners, industrialists, and trade unionists, policymakers, and agriculturists. Certain professional and scientists. The group, these group was included in the working as and specific problems and environment, biologist, ecologist, hydrologist, some taxonomist, sanitary engineers, like need to what is the significance of environmental education? knowledge about the challenges have the alternative environment, land, water, weather, vegetation, social, culture, and political environment are essential components of environmental education. Consequently, gathering the places should be equipped all about to solve the problems of environment, land, water, forest, and other mineral resources, utilization of some dominant features, rural economy with the agriculture, the driving force, uncontrolled and improper exploitations of resources. You have implication for the environment causes and disrupt the living surroundings, displacement of human suffering. The environmental education is therefore necessary to create the awareness for the causes of effective. This problem is problem solving method. Environmental education need to foster international cooperation and understanding. Public engagement, awareness such as a global environmental issues, essential components of environmental education to ordinary citizens should be aware of it. Environmental education for all social and economical emphasis of human and children. These formal sustainable utilization of natural and resources, especially at the rural stage. The benefits of environmental education: imagination and enthusiasm. Environmental education and an interaction learning that spark in the imagination. Benefits of environmental education. Uh, the when the environmental education integrated to curriculum, the students are more enthusiastic and engaged to learning the such rather students achievement in the core of academic areas. Critical thinking, creative thinking skills are enhanced. A tolerance and understanding the supported. A state of national learning standards to meet the multiple subject. Biophobia and natural defects disorders decline. So many things are happening the educate the students. What is the environmental education is uh, important. Environmental education is a dynamic process which is prior to such as education develop the uh, curiosity minds of people about the surroundings. It is make task into the important proper knowledge and training to solve the various problems of our environment systematically in the order of enable the enjoy the good health and high quality life. It is a vital to prevent the harmful effects to human health, damage to the environment caused by the pollution, air, water, soil, noise, vibration, nausea, smell. Environmental education is a methodology to which people pick up familiarly with the surrounding and secure learning abilities, values, experiences, and passion. This all of will be empower them. They act separately in aggregately and take care of the present and future environmental issue. It is a study of relationship and interaction between the natural and human system. Environmental education should consist of the compare living life of education. One responsibility to change the rapidly changing the world. It should prepare the individual of life through understanding the major problems contemporary world. They provide the skills, attributes need to play the protective role. It is improve the uh, environment with a due regarding the ethical values. Some environmental NGOs like case studies of environmental education. Chipko movement. Chipko movement it was started when the contractor acts men come into the when contractors the women we are fight the first to react to cutting of trees in Himalayas, such as the famous socio environmental fight is Chupko movement. Uh, and Silent Valley movement, it is in state of Kerala, group of scientists and Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad launched the Silent Valley movement and save the natural forest. It was in which uh, or, original forest and Dharti Mata and Dharam Mata. And next one, chip movement started in Himalayas, involving women sagging trees, prevent the feelings of uh, commercial use. Chipko movement and laterally the movement upcoming also started in the southern version of Chipko movement launched in Karnataka and 19 and local groups save the evergreen forest from the being submerged by the hydroelectrical project. Dharamata Dahirimata project, a tribal lead movement. It is the most predominant movement and most important movement. A tribal lead movement. This is the Eastern Belt, fastly Bihar, present in Jharkhand. We focus on a spiritual and economical curiosity of mind people about their total surroundings. It makes me task into the improper knowledge and training source in order to enable the people enjoying the good health and high quality life. So some consequences are happening in the environmental education, lack of trained staff, funds, awareness, curriculum issues. The environmental education today we are today topic is environmental education is next we will discuss about the information and communication environmental education. Thank you very much.